Attention all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. With us today is former acting U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security from 2019 to 2021, Chad Wolf. And, Mr. Secretary, tell us what the heck is going on. I understand you're still in the loop of a lot of things going on, and you have the pulse of the situation. Are we winning or losing?
Well, it's a great question. Well, thanks again for having me on. We're going into a fifth week of a DHS shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security not being funded by the Congress. And I think that's exactly the wrong time when we have threats not only overseas but at home and long airport wait times. You know, we have a lot of passengers that are frustrated because it appears as though the Democrats want to make a point and not actually offer up solutions. And so time and time again, they vote against funding DHS because they're upset with ICE. And yet I don't think they're getting any of the reforms that they've asked for. And so what it feels to me is more like a public statement in politics than it is actually trying to fix things. And the only one that appears to actually wanting to solve this issue is President Trump, who I think just, right before we started our conversation, has signed an executive order to pay TSA agents, which is not an easy thing to do. But he's trying to solve the issue for the American people, and I think the Democrats want to use it as a political issue.
And I think a lot of them are trying to do it by acclamation, so they don't get credit for voting to end the problem. And do you think they want to do it before Passover and Easter happens?
Well, I think they do. Obviously, the Senate has left. I think they're on a 2-week recess. The House is probably not far behind, and they know that if they don't do it now, then they're likely not going to do it for at least another 2 weeks and probably longer. They also know that a lot of their constituents travel, and they are seeing some pretty significant wait times. So, again, it's okay to have policy differences with the administration, which clearly they do regarding immigration enforcement. But holding the rest of the department and the traveling public hostage because you don't like immigration enforcement policies, I think it's a bad approach. It's a bad solution to try to achieve.
I agree. Now, I guess the reason for wanting to settle it now, in one way or another, is because they don't want people waiting on lines and thinking about that they're causing the problem.
Well, I think that's right. I think if you're waiting in line over the next 2 weeks, you're thinking, why is the United States Senate and the House not working on this issue? Instead, they're back home. They're on recess. They're on a Easter and Passover recess, right? So I think the optics there are not good either. And so I think that's obviously what they're dealing with. And the Senate, before they left, they decided to fund all of DHS except for ICE and Customs and Border Protection. The House has rejected that, it appears, and wants to fund the entire department. I don't know that there's enough votes in the Senate for that, but that's something that they're going to have to work out.
Well, I think the trick they're trying to use is do it by accolades, so nobody gets credits or debits. Give us your pulse of what's going on between with the Ukraine, with Iran right now. So you got many hot spots: Iran, Ukraine, with Russia. I guess China is getting enough oil because President Trump was smart enough to make sure they have enough oil, so that doesn't become a problem. Cuba is going to be a problem sooner or later. Give us the pulse.
Yeah, obviously we've got an ongoing conflict with Iran. I think the president, talks about this almost daily, which is, just a great change versus what we had with President Biden, which you never really knew his views on much. President Trump, every day what he's thinking about Iran. And he's been very clear from the start, right? They can't have a nuclear program. And he's been very, very clear about that, even in the first term. And even before he held public office, he would talk about this. And so that's where we're at. I think we are 26 days into the conflict. I think at the beginning he said 4 to 6 weeks, and as far as I know, that we're on target for that. And so this is an effort that I think, while a lot of people may have questions about it, and they may say, "Hey, we don't want our troops in harm's way," I think the overall goal here is to make sure that we take an adversary who is a state sponsor, the leading state sponsor of terrorism, who wants to kill Americans almost on a daily basis, that we take their capability off the map and we give the people of Iran the ability to choose their own leaders and not a corrupt regime. So I think it's not done yet, but I think the president's made some great progress with Iran, and of course, he talks about them wanting to negotiate. So I'm sure that's in the background happening as well.
Understood. Anything else you want to communicate to our people? I mean, everybody's scratching their heads. The stock market is all over the place because there's insecurity. I mean, I know President Trump, I was with him the other day. We want two things. We want low energy prices, and we want, things to be calm, and we want interest rates to go down. You have anything else to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things going on. Obviously, there's the events overseas that are happening, but as you indicated, I think most Americans, if you look at a lot of the polling, care about things that affect them in their pocketbook, and that's always been the case. And I think that continues to be the case today. And the president can walk and chew gum at the same time. I don't give in to the criticism that he's lost his focus by doing these events in Iran. I think you can do both. You can make sure that our interest overseas, as well as our folks here in the U.S., are protected by actions overseas, while at the same time working on a number of domestic issues which the cabinet is focused on. And so, the world is unstable, right? I mean, it's a difficult place, but I feel better with President Trump at the helm of that, making deals on behalf of the American people than I do basically any other leader, and certainly President Biden. Well,
Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for coming on this Sunday morning and filling in the American people. And it's our duty to tell them the truth and let them know what the heck is going on. And let's pray for America. Let's pray for the world. And I think President Trump is going to make the world a safer place to be in and get rid of the terrorists and get rid of the drug dealers. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.